This is Now We're Here. I'm Damon Lester. Today I'm talking with Durran Cage, the founder and CEO of Cage Automotive. What's going on, Durran? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, Damon. Great intro, by the way. Job well done.
I got to make sure I give you the Steve Harvey intro. That's how I have to make sure that I do you right.
No, all good. I'm so thankful to be here, man. It's an honor.
And I appreciate you taking the time. We're going to start off, Durran. Let's talk about where your upbringing is, where you're from, and your background in the industry.
Yeah, so fortunately for me, I was a military brat. You know, my dad served in the Air Force, so that had me all over the place. I was born in New Hampshire, and then we moved to Turkey, England, all over Nevada, Ohio. But we landed in New Mexico after he retired, Damon, and I was there playing football. I actually was going to go in the Air Force as well, serve, and I stumbled upon a good friend who's still my best friend to this day, Casey Zangara, and his dad owned a dealership. And man, I said, man, can I come sell cars for your store, for your dad's store during the summertime, make some money? And man, Damon, I sold that first car when I was 17 in 2002. Like most of us, it was a wrap. And since then, got a degree at University of New Mexico in business and accounting. And then I came over here to Memphis, where I live now, as a rep for Chrysler back in 07, 08. You know, if anybody can recall those days, those were fun and eventful. But I did the rep experience for a year, then went into e-commerce, like internet sales at a dealership in Jackson, Tennessee from 2008 to 2012, and became the general sales manager there for 4 years. Then did consulting with Cage Automotive, and then started my own business now as a consultant and coach since 2018, serving the automotive industry. So it's been a fun ride, and it's still going.
I did not know you were in Turkey.
Yeah.
How old were you? How old were you in Turkey?
So young, I can't remember it, but I mean, I've heard the stories, but yeah, I was there, I think from like 1 to 4.
Okay.
So it was still in the 80s during that time, in the upper 80s.
So I was there when I used to be an auditor in Istanbul. And
Okay.
I
Yeah.
remember we went to Tapkapsi. I can't think of the name of it, but
Hmm.
they had apple tea. Turkish apple tea is one of the things I remember the most fondly about going over there, was that they had the best tea. And I'm not really a tea drinker, but I had a really good time, and everyone was really nice when I went down there. That's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, you know, I love me some tea, so
Yeah, that I know. But
you got something coming.
I want to say, like, you have been an innovator, and I didn't know you started your company in 2018. You have been an innovator, I guess, during that COVID, right? Pre-COVID, going into COVID, an
Hmm.
innovator of the precise videos and snippets of tips that you've been able to give, little drops of jewels to everyone on LinkedIn who followed you, or who even you just turned up on people's feeds. You have been
Hmm.
an innovator in that space, man. I want to give you your props, because during that time, and that's how we originally we started meeting and talking, actually on Clubhouse,
Hmm.
was that you have such an interesting way of explaining things, keeping it simple. And I want to touch on Durran, on your philosophy on your training, what type of training you do, and how video plays such an intricate part in all that we do in the industry.
Yeah. So the philosophy on training, thank you for that, Damon, by the way, because I've been a huge fan of yours since I can long remember, before I even actually met you. So it's amazing how things worked out. And I still remember the first time I called Pam during that season, 2019, 2020, and it really wasn't even to speak or do anything. I said, I just want to get involved. Like, I got to link up, because 2020 was a weird time. But so thank you for that. But back to the philosophy. Even when I was on the retail side, Damon, kind of like where you're at, and part of where you live a little bit, was always about how can we make the customer experience better, but also the employee experience better. So many times we focus so much, especially as trainers and coaches, on sell more cars, but the philosophy that I bring in is keep your employees longer, make an experience to where they're telling everybody in the world why they should want to come and join your organization. And so that philosophy is super important. And I think what turning into how does this work from a consulting standpoint is both parties really cherish their time. Salespeople, BDC people, they cherish their time. And so do customers. They cherish their time. So everything that I teach and that we teach, I should say, is around how can we use what you just said, innovations, technology, CRM, video. How can we use all these things that are given to us that really have a minimal investment? How can we use these tools to save us and the customer more time and create an experience where they'll want to come back again and again? So in teaching that CRM, using that optimization to make sure that we're not focused on doing tasks, but doing things in a strategic way, but then using video to kind of like what you just said about me, and thank you for that, is to simplify things. Many times, even to this day, and I'm sure you maybe see it sometimes, Damien, a customer might say, I really like this car. Does it have XYZ feature? In many reps, what I'll see is they send a link to that car on the website and say, yes, it has it. And I'm like, this is the perfect time to save the customer some time and send them a quick 30-second video of it, because if they click on that link, you're wasting their time because now they have to go hunt and get on a dealer's website that they're not near as comfortable as we are. So that's really the goal, is if we can save each other time, create an experience that people they love and they laugh during that time, and we can get more repeat customers and repeat employees out of that. I think we've won and we're moving our industry forward.
And I think for you, you've come to my store and done some work with us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between technology, wanting to use technology, being comfortable with using technology, and actually executing the technology as well. And so, how do you get people, whether you're a seasoned person or someone that's new into the industry, to get comfortable with it? Because the CRM, it can be intimidating. It got a lot of
Mm-hmm.
information in it. Knowing how to navigate through there is an issue for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But you have an ability to be able to make it simple so that everyone can feel comfortable, right? And I think that's probably what the
Yeah.
best word, because time matters, and to your point, for both the customer and to the employee.
Yeah.
How
So
what do you do in those scenarios when you're coming into a new dealership?
yeah. So what I've learned, because I'm still learning in what I do, Damon, and what we do when we're servicing dealers, but the most recent success story with the dealership that they tripled their success in terms of their online sales in literally less than 40 days. And what the difference that happened this time was the owner who brought us in said, we don't want you touching our salespeople or our BDC people. We want you to spend all your time and energy with our leaders of our company. So our sales managers, our F&I, our general managers, we want them to understand the CRM and this video component, all this technology, the way that you do, and breaking it down, and then show us how you're going to teach the salespeople how to use it. So then that way it becomes a culture for the store. And I was like, oh my gosh, because the success was amazing. And it's because what happens is coaches, we get so fired up about our service and our product that we want to go to the end user, which normally is going to be your sales team or your internet team.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, a lot of those people in some organizations, they come and go, but your leaders typically stay a lot longer. So by making sure that the leadership from the top is really bought in and they see the value, and you set up the right reports that really help make their job a little bit easier, then it becomes easier for the salespeople and the internet teams to really buy in, because they're going to use it. It's part of their daily process. It's the leaders sometimes that we forget to use this tool because we got a million and one things going on. We got customers, we got inventory, we got marketing, we got vendors reaching out, all this stuff, but making sure that it's streamlined for them And then for the people that are, BDC, sales reps, internet, they're just like, I don't really get it. All we do is you've got to break it down to the most simple ways. Step one, step two, step three, go here. And then once they see the value of that, like have people sharing their wins from like, hey, I got this equity mining customer to buy when I use this email template in this follow-up call. Once you start celebrating some success, and again, it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of your question when I answered it, is you want to create a culture of using CRM, using technology, and then rewarding and sharing appreciation to the people that are showing that they're using videos. Like there's a video ranking, there's a showing of how many appointments have been logged in the CRM. It's no different than what we did before, Damon, because if you think about it, before technology, we did all these things,
Right.
right? It used to be when you were selling cars, who had the most demo drives, and there would be a rank of demo percentages behind the desk. And then another one was the VIP appointment board. I know there's a bunch of people, some OG car people that know about the VIP appointment. Some of y'all still have it right now. You have a VIP appointment board in the sales tower or in the showroom. So we created that culture before the internet and before CRM. It's now just keeping that culture going, but using the technology and putting it in there with it. So then that way, everything is really still the same under the sun. It's just our cheese got moved a little bit with how we do it.
Let's talk about top down versus bottom up, right? The
Mm-hmm.
leaders are I would say are typically not as prone to wanting to embrace something new.
Yeah.
How do you get, because it has to start with them. If you don't start with them, it's never going to work going down, because your sales staff is going to say, well, he's not using it, so blah blah blah. How do
Yeah.
you
Well,
how do you do that?
from a leadership standpoint, sometimes you just got to show them the money. It's like, Tom, show me the money. They got to see the end result. And because let's face it, if somebody's reaching out to me or any other consultant or partner, it's typically because something's wrong, something's not clicking, and we're not getting as much as we want done. Because if what you're doing is already dominating, then you might not need to change anything. There might be some stores that somehow, some way, it's working perfectly without even a CRM.
Right.
So if that's the case, they're good. But most people that are reaching out, they're either trying to take their high performing team to the next level and figuring out what more strategies can we put in the CRM, or there's somebody that it feels like their house is burning and they're like, we need some help. And so when you show them this, what they can do in the CRM to increase sales quickly and to help them find the right customers in the quickest time, that's really when they buy in. It just
Right.
has to be simple. The more complex it gets, because most sales managers, especially, they don't want any more dashboards. Like they'll be like, Durran, don't give me another dashboard I got to log into. And I'm like, we're not going to do any more dashboards. We're going to put everything front and center in front of you, or we're going to have it delivered to your phone or to where it can text to you. But making it simple for the leaderships in that organization to use that is where you normally get buy-in. Sharing again what I find that more leaders will listen to how other leaders did it than sometimes they'll listen to me. So sometimes I might have to phone a friend and be like, hey, will you talk to them about how you're doing this and how you've had success doing this process? And they'll hear them, or I'll play a video where somebody else is sharing how they use it. And that's another thing that helps them believe whatever strategy, whether it coming from our team, from me, or from somebody else, that's showing them how to integrate this into your daily routine. Because every leader, every sales manager, you have your routine. You're doing this, you're confirming your appointments, you're reviewing your log. But what you've got to do, or what we have to do, is figure out how can we include part of our technology and our CRM in part of your daily routine. And again, that goes back to that time utilization. Once you can get that in there, no different than like you have a gym routine or anything like that. Once you can get that routine into their basics, to their basic daily flow, then you'll see the success go real quick.
So with video,
Mm-hmm.
video is not everyone wants to be in front of the camera, right? Or they don't
Yep.
want to they want to do the video but not speak on it, because then that's a whole nother level of skill. What are
Hmm.
some of the what's some of the tidbits that you get salespeople comfortable with how to do the video?
Yeah.
How what Because that's tough.
Yeah, I mean that's probably where I personally have been cussed out more than any other time, Damon. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start recording, man. They like, I had one guy recently tell me, he said, "Hey, man, I was in prison. I don't do videos." I was like, you're right, man. You ain't gonna do it." But no, but yeah, so the way that I get salespeople and anybody to buy into video, this is where my nerd in me kicks in, is I just spit data, right? When I know there's enough data I've seen, even from my own, I've sent out and posted over 10,000 videos in the last decade. But when I can see dealers' data and I can see that the dealers that are using video in their internet process are selling their online customers in 30% less time than the dealers that don't have video. So when I
Right,
show these things to salespeople and I show real content of before and after, that really does it. When you can show that 40% of the videos that you watch, these customers either go to the website or they come to your dealership. We have the data to show that. So when dealers and sales managers see that, they're like, whoa. So if we've had 500 customers submit a request online and
right.
500 of them got a video, we should see a 28% increase in sales based on yes. And every store that implements that wins. So to me, the success in video is inspiring people, showing them the numbers, and then showing other examples. Because once they see some people do certain videos, they're like, okay, if that person could do a video, I can. Old,
Yeah,
young,
peer
skinny,
pressure.
it don't matter.
Yeah.
But if they see that, that's normally what gets them a little bit more comfortable. And then I like to do it with them. So if I'm there, I'm doing videos with you, or I'll send you an example or a transcript, and just making it fun is what it's all about.
And you have a unique way of people making people comfortable to use it too. So I've been able to
Yeah.
see you in action doing that. So I can attest to you making people feel comfortable and breaking it down into steps on how to do it. Let's talk about CRM. And you touched on dashboards,
Mhm.
sales managers, GSMs. There's a plethora of different logins that they have, right? And you
Yeah.
really need like 4 or 5 different screens per person to really be able to navigate that. Do
Yeah.
you think that the CRM model of of the traditional CRM model, can that be streamlined, because our DMS system pretty much has of our all of our equity in the store?
Hmm.
Is there a way that you can also use your DMS with the CRM, or does it have to be one or the other?
Yeah, I mean, unless, I mean, we know of like what Techion is doing in that space, and I'm not with them or anything like that, but I see them really working on closing that gap. I see it coming, Damon, in the future, but as of right now, with technology, it's just set up to where you kind of have to do both. But what you
Right,
can do is use as much of the data that you're getting from your DMS that's funneling into your CRM and create the right systems, processes, and flows to kind of have your business on autopilot. Like most DMSs don't have that customer experience segment of how to continually reach out to these people, how to make sure that they're getting videos and getting the right, experiences for their birthday and for their dealership anniversaries.
right,
Just most DMSs don't have that capability yet. So that's where the CRM helps. But what I see a lot of dealers, what the opportunity that I see we miss a lot when it comes to CRM and DMS is really that data scrubbing. Like we don't really talk about how much the data in the CRM after a year, 3 years, 5 years, it just starts getting outdated. People have moved. You got people that opted out and they've got a different email address. And so to me, the bigger opportunity when we're talking about CRM and DMS is making sure that the dealerships have a structure to keeping their data fresh, because data is bringing more wealth to dealerships than their inventory is, and even their marketing, their branding. It's about that data, but it makes a difference to a dealership when they can say our data is enriched. It's being updated regularly, like monthly, our data is fresh. So when we send our communications to our customers, our delivery rates are sky high
Right.
because we have a CRM and a DMS where we're keeping our data, to the highest accuracy as possible.
How does it work with you mentioned the thing about the data and entering it in, because that
Mhm.
also will say you have 3,000 of the same person, depending
Yeah.
on how that individual keys that person. And one may use capital letter first,
Yeah.
lowercase, or some people may use middle first, middle last, all caps. Is there a way, is how do you streamline that, or do you urge or coach your management to standardize how to enter the customer's data in the CRM? Is there such a way to do that?
Yeah, and you normally typically you want to start with email addresses, so making sure that everybody gets an email address because that can be the separator between Daniel Johnson and then that person's email address versus Daniel Johnson and a different person's email address or work address. And then the next thing is going to be a mobile cell phone number. So if they're done in that order, email address, mobile cell phone number, then first name, last name, that normally will help in terms of having a lot of those duplicate entries because then you can get with your CRM companies and make sure that those rules are set up. Like, hey, if the customer has the same email address, we want huge red flag. If they've got the same cell phone number, definitely that's a big red flag because you're going to run into a lot of people that either will misspell their name when they're typing it in or people that have the same name. But the email address and the cell phone number and an accurate physical address are going to be the three things that will separate and kind of keep from that duplicate entries that you're seeing. But if you set that up with the CRM, they can be able to streamline that in that order.
And I started off with your background stuff, but I need to go back to how did you worked with Chrysler? How did you get to the point where you wanted to say, you know what, I want to go off on my own? Like, what was, I should have started with that, but I wanted to bring this back because this is kind of the journey of the now we're here, right? What was that moment that you said, you know what, I'm going to go off on my own. I'm going to take a risk because this entrepreneurial thing it is hard, it is
Mm-hmm.
stressful,
Yeah.
but it is something that's also liberating. So talk about that journey on that and that decision that you made.
Yeah. Well, part of it was pain. When I was with Chrysler, that '07, '08 time, it was a painful time. I mean, when I was brought into that role, it was to help dealers. It really was. It was like, man, Durran, you're going to go into dealerships, you're going to inspire them, you're going to help them with marketing, you're going to help them with inventory ordering. And we did at the beginning, but then when things got tough, we became wholesalers. Like really, all I did, my day, every single day, Damon, was to call dealers and to just push metal. I'm pushing inventory. And I didn't like that as much. And so I started educating dealers. I can help them buy my car,
Right.
buy more inventory, but I got to help them sell what they have. See, I heard dealers say that. They said, Durran, all you do is try to sell me something. Why don't you help me sell something and I'll buy from you? I was like, you're right. So I started studying Google, pay per click, BDC, reading every magazine I could. And then that's when one of the dealers said, hey, you giving us all this game and you tell us we need to do this, do that. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? And I was like, and do what? He was like, you run our internet department, you run our e-commerce and our marketing. And I was like, okay. And I did it. I jumped ship and left from a rep job and went straight to Jackson, Tennessee. And it was probably one of the best moves I ever made because I wouldn't be here talking to you now if it wasn't for that. But then fast forward to today, the reason why I do the consulting work is what happens is in a lot of corporations, you can have a lot of great ideas and you see a bigger picture. But what happens is there's that ceiling where they almost don't want you, like, man, you're doing too much, Durran. You're going to start making us look bad.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't like when I was working for other people. It's like I'm always thinking further out than what an owner or a corporation head is comfortable with doing. And so now having, this entrepreneurial journal where it is like what you said, Damon, it's stressful, it's tough, it's hard. But what I like is that I can wake up early and write my vision down in my notes and dreams that I have and things that I think that will move the industry and people and things outside of the industry further, I now can tap into that,
Yeah.
but before it was like you're constantly held under a glass where it's like, no, you can't do that. No, people won't do that. Well, now any idea that I can think of that I feel is going to help people like yourself, Damon, or
Yeah.
a salesperson do better, I can roll that out to the marketplace. And so that's why I really enjoy doing what I'm doing today. It is hard, but it's fun. It's rewarding to see people grow and see our industry evolve.
And but you can tell how your energy level is something, it's not something that you have to do. You really like and enjoy doing the training, and I've been
Yeah.
able to see that firsthand, and being able to motivate these young men and ladies that you see every day. You it can oozes, and that type of personality will grab people, will gravitate to that, man. And so I would definitely appreciate that level of commitment, because talking on the screen or showing your videos and sending it out to LinkedIn, you really don't know what that feedback is, but you have been able to put people in positions where your videos, man, during COVID, and then you would stop and your music would close. I'm like, dang, why would you keep going with those little drippets? But I knew it was a marketing piece, because they needed to call Durran on what else was he talking about as his segue faded out. And so I want to just congratulate you, man, and I'm just a blessing to know you, and being able to work with you both through NAMAD and then here at this store here. But you have definitely changed a lot of lives, not just within all of the customers and clients that you have, man. And I really appreciate that. I want to close with one thing, two things actually. You do a lot in front of the camera. You do a lot when you're traveling. What's your balance? How do you find your balance for managing? Because being an entrepreneur, you really don't have a set schedule. You're always on. So how do you find that balance?
Well, first, thank for what you said before about the LinkedIn videos. I appreciate that. And that was just a way to, as much as it was marketing, as much just giving people some food to eat, just, hey, here's a different way to do certain things. So I appreciate that and really love your leadership, Damon. I've seen you in action as well at your events, and I still don't understand how you do what you do. You and Pam, y'all amaze me every single year. I get there like, how do y'all do this? So it's really cool, and you make everybody feel like family. It's a gift that you have, Damon. But the balance part, I don't, and you know this as well, Damon, I'm sure, but there really isn't much balance. It's more of just paying attention to the waves of work, right? So I might go in a season where I might go 7 days straight of just go, 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 not being able to be here because I'm traveling and doing that. But it's more of what you do when you get back. So when I get back, I make sure that I'm carving in that right time, making up for that time. And even when I'm out traveling, I don't eat typically. So most people know this. I fast when I travel and leave. So when people are doing their lunch breaks and they're doing their dinners, in most cases, that's when I'm doing my FaceTime, connecting with my kids and whatnot. But when I'm here in the office at home, I go all in. So I make sure that at nighttime I'm completely present. In most AMs, we rise our kids so early that a lot of times that we get to I'll get to serve them breakfast. We get to meditate together and hang out and read. So I mean, we get up and get to it. And then at night, my boys, everybody's so active. My daughter's doing dance, my sons all play ball, and I'm a coach too. So, I'm carving in time to coach them, play basketball with them, see them at their games and stuff. So it works because we made our lives as a family kind of mold together. Like my son, even the content, Damon, that you were talking about in 2020. Well, my son, he's not here now. He's downstairs because they're homeschooling. But he during those content times, he was in the kitchen with me cooking, not real food, but content food. So, and he was only 12, 13 at the time. I mean, now he's about to be 16, and now he knows how to market. He knows how to edit content. He can get clients if he wants. So like that was like the way of balance, is keeping my wife and keeping my kids as close to this business as possible and making them feel a part of it. And then everything that they do, I make sure that I get invested in that. So if it's my daughter's dance, I'm doing the daddy daughter dance events with her. I'm making sure that I go every now and then and watch her dance. And when I take her, we play our daddy daughter playlist album and stuff like that. So just anytime I get with one of them, I over deliver, because how am I going to be on here talking to you and giving you this much energy, this much love, and I give it to the salespeople and leaders, but then when I'm around them, I don't give them that. I got to give it to them to a whole nother level.
That's
And
right.
by doing that, that's when it gives that balance, because I make 30 minutes feel like 3 hours when I'm with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%. And you missed out. You missed this last. I threw you a Scooby snack and you didn't jump it. When the cookbook coming out, Durran?
Oh my gosh. So Paige, actually, she was on it. So it's all on our phone. She added a bunch yesterday, a bunch of recipes. It's our perfectionist in both of us, and we got to get away from it, because we were talking about, do we want to do a hard copy? Do you want to do paper? I'm like, bump both of them. I said, let's just do the ebook and get it out. I
Get
said,
it out.
because I said, get the ebook out, so then that way people can read it, and then they can give us feedback, and then we make adjustments and then do the real book. I said,
Right.
so let's get it out to a couple hundred people. So it's coming soon. It should be a good holiday gift for most. But
So
thank
if
you for
anybody
throwing
doesn't
it out
follow Durran Cage, please follow him on IG, because this dude be cooking some food and you're just like, man, he need to be on Iron Chef or beat Bobby Flay. And I mean, it just makes you, it looks good on how you just presented on that video. And by you being able to cook and show it in that video, that's how you show the recipe on how the ingredients to go when you video a vehicle to a customer, man. And I just wanted to end with that, because that's a talent, man, that you have. Shout out to Paige. That's a talent that you have that that's the best kept secret, man. And but please follow Durran Cage in his IG, because he has some jewels in there, some videos, and it's a beautiful thing what you've been able to do, man. And I appreciate your friendship.
No, no, you. But hold on, what about you? You still baking cakes? Because
Man, I
you
bake.
said you
You
make a
know,
mean cake.
I bake when I'm stressed. So I've been baking a lot of stuff.
So you better not be baking a lot right now, Damon.
Man, look, I've baked. I've sent some pies to Damian Mills. I've been baking, bro, and it's just like, yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
So
Damien
I'll
said,
have to
man,
get
you
one
need
of
to
them
get
cakes
these
so I
pies
come
out.
out there.
Yeah, he said, man, you need to start selling this stuff in the showroom. I said, man, that's
Yeah,
only when I'm stressed out. But yeah,
that's good.
nah, that's my advice. But hey, I want to thank you again for taking the time and jumping on. I know you're busy and you have clients, and just thank you, man. You're a good person. Your wife is an awesome lady, and again, shout out to Paige. Please tell her I said hello, and
Sure
keep
will.
doing what you're doing. And anything you can do, anything you need from me or NAMAD, we got you.
Same here, man. Anything I can do
Yeah,
for you, Damon, we need to hop on a call. Anything I can do for your team, you know you got me. So I'm here for you. But thank you so much. It's been great sharing. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and the guys at ASOTU as well. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
thanks for listening to this episode of Now We're Here. Make sure you follow the show and share this episode with a friend. Stay tuned for more episodes as we shine spotlights on the leaders who are not just keeping up with the industry, but driving it forward.